Now to America's election headquarters. While Donald Trump is still talking about immigration, he seems to be softening his stand on illegal immigrants as he steps up his attack on Democratic opponent, making good on his promise 3 weeks ago today, actually, to focus more directly on Hillary Clinton. Joining us now to talk about it, Simon Rosenberg, president and founder of NDN and a former Bill Clinton campaign advisor. Chris Wilson joins us, former Cruz campaign pollster. Good to see you both. You know, Chris, it does appear that Donald Trump is focusing more of his rhetoric, especially at campaign rallies, on Hillary Clinton. We heard it last night, the emails and, immigration and the foundation and so forth. He's called her in the last several weeks a liar, corrupt, criminal, crooked. I mean, you can pick your invective. Is that a wise strategy?
Well, you know what this is you're seeing an evolution, and it is Team Trump 3.0 playing the hand they've been dealt as best they can, which is they're trying to get him to make the campaign about Hillary Clinton. They're trying to get him to stay on talking points, and so they recognize he's never going to stop talking about immigration. So they're trying to get him to pivot a little bit, make it more about stopping bad guys from getting in rather than attacking immigrants. They hope the more they can talk about Hillary Clinton, the more they can make the campaign about her. And that actually puts the campaign more in play than it is today, because as long as it's about Donald Trump and some of his statements that take the attention away from her, it makes the race a little more difficult for Trump to be competitive. You know,
Simon, presidential character is actually really important. And, maybe Hillary Clinton didn't break the law technically in the use of her emails, although she certainly wasn't honest about it. Director Comey said as much in his testimony before Congress. And, by the way, 2/3 of Americans think she is dishonest. So isn't Trump justified in focusing on Clinton and her character?
Of course. It's an election, and everything is fair game between the two candidates. I just don't think it's working very well. I mean, she's far ahead in the polls right now. She's ahead by more than 10 points in key battleground states, equaling more than 270 electoral college votes. You know, he's got a very tough road to hoe in the coming months. And I think the Clinton campaign, though, needs to respond, and they need to be more aggressive about putting out a positive message. This is going to be a little bit of a bumpy period, I think, for Clinton world. But I think we've got a strong lead. I think she's done a very good job in this race. And but we're under no illusions that this is going to be an easy game the rest of the way.
You know, Chris, Simon says it's not working. Maybe that's because it rings hollow when Donald Trump calls Hillary Clinton a liar. The Washington Post fact checker keeps a running tally on false statements. They give 4 Pinocchios to Hillary Clinton over the course of the campaign. 5 times they gave Donald Trump 4 Pinocchios for telling whoppers. 33 times, in fact, 63% of the time, they say, he's not telling the truth.
Yeah, that's a challenge. I mean, it is. I'll get back to the whole point of what the Trump campaign is trying to do now is they're trying to get him to stick to talking points and use the teleprompter and stay a little bit more on message. The more they can do that and get him from shooting from the cuff, the more they're able to stop those sorts of fact-checker issues from occurring into his campaign speeches. Yeah. And the challenge that they've got is just if he can stay on message, if he can make the campaign about Hillary Clinton, if he can soften his rhetoric a little bit, he has a chance in this election. But to Simon's point, right now, Clinton does have a solid lead, and Trump has done nothing so far as he can to prove he can stay on message. If he's able to, I think it tightens up and it becomes a different election.
Simon, on immigration, Trump famously vowed last November 11th, I think was the first time he absolutely is going to deport every single undocumented worker in America. That would mean roughly 11 million. He repeated it over and over, every single one of them. Now, of course, he's backing off on that. It's vague and ambiguous as to what he really means now when he says he'll follow the law and be compassionate and so on and so forth. But how is that not a blatant, flagrant flip-flop?
Well, I really spent a lot of time trying to figure out what he's been saying over the last couple of days.
Well, you can't figure it out.
And I think to your point is if he's changed his position, the campaign needs to make it clear what has changed from what was a very extensive policy document that they put out, last year.
Right.
The second point, though, is that this idea of deporting bad guys first, putting felons first, that's an Obama administration approach. We started that in 2011. Republicans have actually been against against that
Right.
for the last 5 years. So that's actually a change. The one thing we know has changed, and he's now embracing President Obama's immigration enforcement strategy. We're grateful for that. And third, given how important that he said following the law is, they've got to come clean about his wife.
All right,
There is
Simon,
overwhelming evidence that she broke
I'm
the
up
law when
against
she
a
came in
hard
here.
break.
They've got
Simon
to.
and
They've
Chris,
got to. Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
both.
go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
But we'll be
Sure.
right back.